Hey Anthony, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing just fine. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy. Um,
Thank you for inviting me.
my pleasure. So, guys, a little bit of a backstory here. Anthony and I know each other like for many years now. I used to coach him in California when he was
No side.
yeah, yeah, Oceanside.
I
Uh,
remember.
that's right. Good times. So Anthony's, now obviously playing professional tournaments. He's nice enough to be part of my ambassador program for the Emil Tennis Method. The first question I have for you was, you and I talked, I think last year for a little bit, and what made you decide to go pro versus going college? I know you had some offers and, from schools here.
Yeah, I got a lot of offers from D1 schools, and I was like really thinking. Maybe 2 years ago, I was really thinking I'm going to college, but then I just didn't feel like it's my thing. Since I was very young, I was always just practicing and not really like school was kind of on the backside of me. Like I was still studying in Bulgarian, but it was always online. And then I had the opportunity to go to college, but I just thought it's not for me. And many of my friends went to college, and I was speaking with my parents about it, and I was thinking, I want to do it now. I want to give myself the opportunity now and see how far I can go right now because I was really good junior, and I really believed that it would have been way easier than it came out to be. You know, tennis is really physical sport, and I end up right now in a situation where I'm just really happy that I didn't go to college because I learned so much about tennis that maybe in college would have been not like I would have a lot of tutoring from a lot of very good coaches, but I feel like having the experience by firsthand on the tour was really good for me. That was one of the reasons why I felt that that was the right decision and I took it, and then I don't regret it one bit.
For sure, for sure. That's good. No regrets. That's the way to go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, very good, very good. So, my next question is, what is your advice to, aspiring juniors, whether they want to go pro or they just want to go play college tennis? I mean, not everybody can go pro, obviously, and even playing high level Division 1 is very hard. It's
no,
very competitive. So, yeah, cool.
I would definitely say to a lot of juniors right now, consistency. You gotta want it, and like there are a lot of people, like motivational speakers. They say this, and it sounds cliche, but
Mhm.
it's the truth. Like I experience this every day. When you're there consistent, day after day, and you work hard, and like no matter what, good or a bad day, you're just there. You can make it. There are people who start tennis in the age of 15, 16, and they think like, oh, like I missed my opportunity. But no, you can, and you really can do this if you're consistent and you really want this. If you're like, let's say, breeding tennis, you can. Everybody can become super good playing Division 1 tennis, and it's really high level. But it's how badly you want it. If you want to go party, you want to be like one of the rest, and you're never gonna make it no matter how much talent you have. But if you do the right things, the one that your coach or your tutor can is telling you because he knows from experience how to do it, then I believe then everybody can do it. It's not that difficult. It's just you have to be there every single day, 365, and that's when you see the difference between the good and the bad players. And I see it myself, and it's amazing how consistency can get you so far.
Excellent.
That's yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I obviously I work with a lot of juniors now, and I pretty much tell them the same thing. It's always nice for them to hear from somebody that's currently playing. So this is great. And when you say consistency, you mean consistency in pretty much everything, like your practice, your routines,
Yeah,
do day in and day out, basically.
I mean like morning practice, your lunch, your
Yeah.
second practice, your dinner, what time you go to bed, did you stretch, did you do your recovery, did you take your protein, did you do all the things important for you to be ready to compete the same tomorrow? Because the practices that I'm doing on Monday, you're like at the top. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're feeling the fatigue. And if you did not take the protein, if you did not go to sleep at like the right time and you didn't get the enough hours of sleep, Friday you're like asking the coach, can I just do less a little bit today? And that's when you see the difference between the top and
Yeah.
the poker players.
Yeah. That's awesome. Which leads me to my next question. What is your daily training routine? What does it look like? Like
Well, I do basically
weekly? It could be weekly too.
well in a daily I practice. I wake up in the morning. I always have my breakfast, and then before practice, I think that's the most important thing for every athlete to have their breakfast. I know some players don't have their breakfast before practice, and after they're wondering why they're dead. I'm like, okay. Anyways, but I practice from like 9 to 11.
Okay.
Yes, and then I do um 11 to 12 fitness. Then I have a rest and I have my lunch. And then from 2 to 3, I have another practice. And then from 3 to 3:30 is the time where I take for stretching and recovery.
Mhm.
Then I'll go home. I will have like my secondary like snack before. I always have a snack. Either gonna be like a protein or it's gonna be like a peanut butter and jelly. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. But I'm always trying to have a lot of calories
Mm.
because I'm trying to always have enough weight not to be like to lose because I burn a lot of calories in the day.
Right, right. Yeah.
And I'll have my dinner around like 7:30 and try to be sleeping around 10:30 so then I can wake up again at like 7 the next morning.
Okay.
That's like normal day, and I'll do this from Monday to Saturday, and then Sunday it's like a rest day, which yeah, it's based. Well, for me, they're never rest days. It's like I take
Right.
these days for recovery, either go into a swimming pool or to ice bath and all this, but not
Yeah.
every day opportunity. I'm trying to purchase now the reboots so I can do it every day for my legs,
Gotcha.
but
Okay.
getting my own recovery because it's super expensive here in Spain.
Okay. Okay. So, do you do match play in the afternoons or is it normal practice?
Usually I would do it in the mornings because
Match play in the mornings.
I
Okay.
would do a 2 hours in the mornings, and I would usually do because many of the other players that I know they do it in the afternoons and they always get like 1 hour in the afternoon, so they can
Okay.
only do one set. And me and my coach, we decided that it's better if I invite people to come play with me in the mornings, a match,
Yeah.
because that's what I usually play in futures in the mornings.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I would play a full match, 2 or 3 sets, and whatever didn't work in the morning, we'll fix it with the baskets in the afternoon.
Yeah. That's all.
And I my fitness, I mean, I'm always doing the exercises,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, footwork, conditioning, following following your steps.
Yeah.
Uh, then I will do a lot of strength, and for also, I feel like strength is really important not to get injured.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm just trying to mix it up, not to burn out one zone,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm doing my best. I feel like I could be doing better sometimes in the gym, but step by step, I'm learning as well.
Yeah. It's a
Need to
process.
myself find what's good for me, what's best for me, so then I can keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
basically.
yeah, no, that's great insights there. What are your tennis goals then for next year?
Well, straight off, like top of my head, then what I want for next year is top 300 doubles
Okay.
and top 800 singles. Like I want to be more aggressive in singles. I want to like no fear, just go out there and do my whatever happens, like
Yeah,
hit the ball. And nowadays tennis is super fast. It's not like how it used to be like 10 years ago when Rafa and Djokovic were just grinding 20, 30 balls.
yeah.
And definitely this is my goals. I doubles I it's really going well for me right now.
Yeah.
I really hope that top 300 is really realistic for me because now I'm gonna be 500 after this, after the win from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, congratulations by the way on them. For those of you guys there, they're gonna be watching this soon. Anthony just won a big is this still a Futures ITF World Tour? Is that what they call it nowadays?
Yeah,
Or
it's ITF. It's 25K,
25K? Yeah, that's
the
awesome.
high
Okay.
ITF category.
Excellent. How many? So how many? You have quite a few doubles titles now.
That's my third or my fourth. I cannot. I
Okay.
not that
Okay.
I lost count, but it's because this year I won twice and
Yeah.
played three, and
Yeah.
last year I won one and I made one final. So I think this is my third title.
That's awesome. What's the feeling of winning a yet another doubles title or just winning a big professional
Uh,
tournament?
the thing is, so this year I won a 15K,
Yeah.
and it was winning a national tournament.
Yeah.
It just didn't, it's like winning because I know I have the level, but the winning the 25K was such an amazing feeling because I played two finals this year and
Yeah.
lost both of them in super tiebreak.
Oh,
And I remember after my last one, I played was like 1 month ago. I played with a Spanish guy in Spain, and we lost to one French guy whose his name is Kenny. He was top 50 before in
okay.
singles,
Okay.
and he played that tournament just doubles, and he basically beat us in the final 10-8 in the super.
Oh,
And I remember I was speaking to my girlfriend about it. I was like, what is it up with me and 25Ks and why can't I win? And then 2 weeks later with a Bulgarian, which is so much better to win it with.
yeah, for sure.
It feels good. It feels so good. Like that win, I couldn't sleep the next 3 days.
Nice. That's
It was
awesome.
feeling.
Well, I'm gonna take us back to singles for a second. So, what do you think takes to achieve a high singles ranking on the tour?
Definitely a lot of conditioning. Like comparing singles and doubles, it's like comparing pickleball and paddle. Okay, not tennis because that's like
Yeah.
pickleball and paddle. Like
Yeah.
one tennis singles in general is just so much cardio. You gotta really run a lot around the court. You gotta be super precise with what you want to do because you can be hitting like 10 balls, like really good quality. One ball goes in the middle, and all of a sudden you're defending. And you got to be there conditionally, like cardio wise, be
Hmm.
there. But for you to hit every single ball good, you need to have like a really good, you need to be on the right place, footwork as well. And I always say consistency. For me, that's like, I have it like written on, in the wall, like consistency. Because to be honest, if you want to be good in singles, you got to be there every week.
Yeah.
You you can see many players who play one good tournament and they disappear for the whole year. And I can give you many examples. I prefer not to just,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there are many players who just do one good week and then just disappear and would stay 800 their whole career. And
Yeah.
then there are guys like, I mean, you can check as a Bulgarian yourself. See how many players we have in the last 20 years that have been 500 and never went more.
Right.
And
Right.
it's
Right.
all about consistency because they will do half of the year good, and the other half of the year they would be losing first rounds. They're not the same. There will be too many ups and downs. Well, one of our next, I hope, future Bulgarians, Adrian Andreev,
Yeah.
I spoke to him so many times, and him himself is saying that when he's consistent this year, he entered top 200.
Hmm.
And as I spoke to him like 6 months ago, he was saying, "This year is working for me because I am there every week, and that's why I'm there. I have the level. We just have to be there."
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I'm lacking as well. That on tournaments, I would play, I would pass most of the times the qualies, but when it's important to win the points, that's when my level, there's stress, there's pressure, and all this, and I'm not ready enough to be winning these matches, mostly mentally. And I hope next year that barrier will break down and I can be there most of the weeks. I'm not expecting to be Novak Djokovic next year, but small steps will get me there.
Sure. Are you going to be able to play some challengers as well? Potentially.
Doubles,
I know in doubles you're probably going to be able to, because your ranking's going
doubles,
to jump big time.
doubles. Or the foul play challengers is mostly gonna be because I will be on the just I would sign up for the doubles, and I would go to the tournament and kind of like sign in for singles, and if
Yeah.
there's available spot, I will
Sure.
play.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the moment, the singles it's like really difficult. There are a lot of players who are playing challengers.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, so this next question, this one is particularly important for me because I do a lot of that, and I want to get your insight on this. How important is tennis footwork and conditioning? But obviously those are two different things. You spoke about conditioning, because the singles game nowadays is so fast and so physical that you gotta be, conditioned pretty well. But as far as footwork and movement, I mean, what importance do you think it plays?
For singles and doubles, I think that's one of the most important things. I feel like if you're not, especially in doubles, footwork is extremely important because you have to be there on every single ball. And when there's you play against good players, they have good volleys and the ball comes even faster. You got to be even quicker. On singles, it's like the ball now it's coming so much quicker than as we talked about before. Like the pace is so fast, and
Yep.
if you're lazy with your feet, you're not getting the right shot. You're gonna shank it, and I feel like that's, let's say, one of the most important, but for me it's like the most important thing for tennis in 2023, 2024.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
yeah. I mean,
not to be
last time you and I spoke, we talked about footwork, and I think that's what you were, trying to figure out how do I improve that, and obviously you've done some major improvements over the last 6 months to a year, I think, and obviously the results are showing that. So that's huge. That's one thing obviously I tell all my players, if you can move well, you can beat people that may be better players than you at the time. They may have better technique than you. They may have bigger serves, but if you can just be there, be annoying. I call that being annoyingly persistent because you're just there, and that could win you some matches big time, especially in singles. I mean, and especially on clay probably because you play a lot on clay, right? You play a lot
Yeah,
on clay,
most
and
of the year is clay.
yeah, yeah. How do you handle losses?
Oh, I mean, that's one thing that I learned this year, and it was it was extremely, it's literally saved my year, saved, like, I can't even say saved my career. Is like there's some matches that you lose and you feel like it's the end of the world. But then I learned this from well, maybe Daniela Dimitrova's grandma.
I
Her
think
name is Georgetta Duncan.
okay.
One of like one of the people that really really helped me this year with
Mhm.
understanding this. It's like, think about when you're down, like down, and you are feeling so disappointed after a loss. Think about the moment when you were successful. Think
Wow.
about how you did what you did, what how you were successful, how you were feeling in that moment. And she promised me, if I did this, I'm not gonna feel sad anymore. And this year I had so many losses where I haven't had one loss, which was 7-6 in the third. And I remember I came out of the court and I was speaking to my girlfriend and I was like, man, I'm so bad. How can I lose this match and all this? And like I went back to my room and I was like, okay, let's do it now. Like now is the moment to do this. The words she told me. And I thought about like a time where I won a singles tournament and like how good I was playing, or on a practice how good I was feeling, and it made me like not only motivated, but it made me like want to go out tomorrow and to do it better so I can show myself that I'm good and I can do it. And as I told you before, like I lost this year in the final on the 25K 10-8, and I remember I said this to myself like, let's do it. Let's think about something that when I was successful. And I remember when I was winning this 15K, how I was lifting up the trophy, how happy I was.
Mhm.
And then 2 weeks later, there's no stress. I go on the court. I'm playing one of my best tennis. There's no fear anymore, and I'm just thinking how I'm gonna lift this trophy after this tournament. Like during the match, which I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm just thinking how I'm a winner. I'm gonna win this tournament. Now it's my time, and I do that. And it sounds like cliche, but I was I felt every moment of this final. I can literally tell you point by point, from the first point to the last point, what happened and how I played, because I was so focused. I was not gonna let this chance go, and that's how I'm starting, like dealing with losses this year, and it's been one of my most successful years in a very long time, because usually losses put you down, and if you let yourself down, then nobody can pick you up. Not even God
Yeah.
himself
Yeah.
come up and pick you up.
I
So,
agree. I agree. That's the mental toughness part of tennis, which is huge, and it's often overlooked. I think, obviously I'm coaching now a lot, and as we do so, we don't spend enough time on mental toughness. Um, but we try to talk to our juniors all the time. You gotta stay positive. You gotta, like you said, go back into the times when you were winning. You gotta revisit that. But that's part of being consistent too. When you talked about consistency earlier, you got to be like that for every loss. You got to make sure we go into that happy place. And that's tough. That's easier said than done. You know.
yeah, definitely it's easier said than done. Nah.
So I I just remember. I think earlier this year you had this three setter against, I think, the guys from Spain in singles, and he was really good. I think he was like top 300 in the world, or even top
Oh yeah,
200, like that.
but Paul Martin Tifon.
Right. And
Yeah, 250.
yeah, yeah. So you playing with a guy like that, I mean, obviously that guy is pretty good, and he's going to be around probably for a while, it sounds like it. So what do you think was the difference there? I mean, you were so close, right? You barely lost to him. It was like
Yeah, I was 7-5 down in the third set.
yeah. So I mean, that's huge against somebody like that. Like would
I would always like, the thing is, I played this year a lot of really good Spanish players, or like top 500 players, and I can definitely say that that match in general, what was lacking for me was I just didn't believe, you know. And as you were speaking about mentality and everything, Djokovic once said that tennis is 80-90% mentality. Like
that.
mentally believing that you can do this. That match, and I can say it hands down, I did not believe that I can beat a top 250 player. And I spoke to my mom about it after the match, and she was like, of course, really happy that I had such a good result. And I was like frustrated. And she was like, why are you frustrated? I was like, I never, even though I won the first set, I didn't believe that I'm winning this one. And she was like, but why? You were much better the whole match. Like, she didn't want to tell me this because maybe it was gonna hurt me, but she told me after I told her this, and I was like, I know that I was better. I know the whole match. I was playing much better than him. I was more aggressive than him, but I didn't believe I can win.
Yeah.
I always felt like he had more experience than me, and then I was not gonna do it. And I regret that I had this mentality back then, because nowadays I basically today I play with Nicolas Jarry in the practice,
Yeah.
and I believed the whole time that I could have won, no matter what. And like, even though we were playing and everything, I believed that I was gonna go and win. And it's like different mentality, different.
Sure.
I, I'm I'm definitely trying to improve that, but it's definitely not easy for
Right.
do it alone. You need people to always help you, and when you're going down with it, I definitely.
Because we talked about believing so much, I just remember. Have you seen Ted Lasso, the
No.
TV series? You haven't? Okay. So, I would highly recommend it's on Apple TV. I don't know if you can get access to that. But watch Ted Lasso. It's about 4 seasons, I believe. But and I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but you need to watch that show.
I'll write it
It
down.
will help you
So
mental game big time. Ted Lasso, I can text you later the
yeah,
whatever everything you need to know about it, but you need to watch that. And after you watch it, I would suggest getting one of those signs. It says believe. And I want you to put it in the back of that wall that you have there, if that's where you live right now, but
yeah,
you need to
apartment.
have, yeah, you need to have that sign. It's a sign in blue and yellow, and it says believe. And just look at that every day. But you need to watch the show first. I highly recommend getting on it.
I would try to get access to Apple TV.
Okay,
I, I I think my girlfriend has an account that we can I
perfect.
can, but well, I will speak to her later.
Okay, you will be so motivated. I guarantee you're gonna win your first singles title very, very soon.
Just
Big
okay,
time.
then I'm gonna watch that.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, this was very random, and so that's how I know this was, not scripted here. We're kind of going with the flow. All right, well, we're almost done because I got to get going a little bit, but I do have, I guess, one more question. Some of the fun ones I had prepared for you. Um, let's see. Yeah, let's go with this one. Well, I actually have two questions. The first one, it's a very, very, you can give me the short answer. Are you planning on coming to the US anytime soon, play some tournaments here and,
Look, I would love
you as
to.
well?
I would love to do that. Like, I love the US. Since when I was
Yeah,
young, I was there. But
yeah,
at the moment, I just cannot afford. Me and my parents are really struggling right now to be able to afford to go to the US, and
yeah,
in general tournaments next year. I'm just hoping that I can get a sponsor so
yeah,
that I can more tournaments overseas and in Asia, because
yeah,
there's like the level in Asia, it's lower than in Europe, and in America I just want to go back to the US, to be honest.
yeah. It's well,
But it's just
anytime you need a place to stay, I'm in Virginia, for now.
I would love to go.
We'll get
I
you
hope
going.
in I just hope in the future. I hope I can get a sponsor next year,
Yeah,
helping tournaments and everything. And I just hope that I can go and start playing more and more tournaments overseas, because
yeah,
this is would be great for me. Traveling the world is one of my dreams.
yeah. Who who's your goat?
Well, Novak Djokovic.
Djokovic. Okay, I sensed that, but I just wanted to have a verbal
I,
confirmation on
that
that.
that guy for me is that guy is another level. And the thing is, I love Grigor, and
Yeah,
like, amazing guy.
yeah,
But my goal is gonna be Djokovic. And
yeah.
I'm living in Spain my whole life, and everybody's like Rafa, Rafa. Like, yeah,
Right, right. Yeah,
Djokovic.
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think it's different for everyone. Like I don't know if I've told you, I'm a huge Leighton Hewitt fan. That's my
Yeah.
go. And
Okay.
yeah, and he has nothing to do with who's won the most slams, who's achieved whatever better rankings or tournaments, whatever. It's really growing up watching him just grind and fight and finding way to win. That mentality is what impressed me the most. Just being there, and I've sort of taken that and outside of tennis into life in general. Just never giving up. That's what he was famous for, never giving up. And he didn't have the biggest of games. Federer showed up later and pretty much ended his career. That doesn't mean Federer is the GOAT for me. So I still like Hewitt. Whenever you come visit me here, you're gonna see I have a whole wall. I have Hewitt's racket, like the one that he retired with, like at the Australian Open,
Yeah,
like the custom made for him. I mean, I'm like a huge Hewitt fanatic, right?
that's
But
good.
yeah, and I get a lot of people didn't like him because he was annoying, whatever. But people then changed their mind at the end of his career thing, and yeah,
Honestly, I feel like, oh, and this is controversial. Like, this is controversial, but I feel like that's what I want tennis to be, because I feel like tennis is a really uh too polite of a sport, and I
yeah,
feel like being this type of like Nick. I'm not saying to be like Nick, but what Nick is doing, like trash talking, he's making tennis interesting for people who are not really want to watch tennis. Everybody knows Nick Kyrgios, but they don't know Dusan Lajovic, and they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so I feel like,
Spicing it up. We call that spice it up a little. Make it more
yeah, and
interesting. Like
more players do that, the
yeah,
fan tennis would be crazy. It's like basketball. People would just watch it for the drama.
yeah. It doesn't have to be all proper all the time because then you lose certain audience. You want to, and tennis needs that.
Yeah,
You're right. Tennis needs. I mean, a whole lot more marketing. It needs people that would kind of bring the heat and make it interesting. I mean, you're absolutely right. When Nick Kyrgios plays in DC, he plays the City Open pretty often. That stadium is packed for his matches. Regardless, he could be playing singles, doubles. He doesn't even have to play. It's just a practice court, right? It's all crowded, and people that don't even go and watch tennis normally, they would go just to watch him. They just want to see who that guy is. What's all the hype about? So
and if I feel like I love players who, because I've there are a lot of players on the tour that that I know, because here in Spain there, as I said, Nicolas Jarry is in Barcelona, Karen Kachanov, Rublev, uh, Dusan was here, Schwarzman, Fonini, all this, they come practice in Barcelona, and as me as a upcoming pro player and like playing futures and everything, they always want to play with guys like us, because they don't like to play with each other, just for like, so
yeah,
they want to ITF and new players like this. So I play with many pros, and I know that they don't show their true personality.
Mhm.
I know many players who just love to trash talk, but then I'm asking them like, why wouldn't you do it in a press conference? And they'll be like, well, it's just not ethical. They'll be
yeah,
like, ah. And I'm like, yeah, if you're like Nick, or like just being your true self, even
yeah,
like how Rune is right now, someone that I grown up with, he loved to trash talk when in juniors. He's doing it now, even though like he's doing it in his own way, and he becomes like the villain. People
yeah,
love to watch his matches.
yeah. I agree. Well,
Ah,
Anthony, before we go, please say hi to your parents. I think very
sure,
highly of them, and I hope to see them soon. Whenever I take a trip back to Bulgaria,
for
tell them
sure.
I said hi. And obviously, I wish you all the best. Stay in touch with me, and we'll talk after this more. But
For
watch
sure.
Ted Lasso for sure.
Definitely.
That
If
should
that's
be
gonna
one takeaway from today. Watch that show.
if that's gonna make me win my first future, I'm going for it.
Perfect. Perfect. Um, and yeah, that's thank you again for coming on here.
No,
We'll
thank you for inviting me.
and we'll connect with you hopefully in a few months again, see how everything is going. All right. Meanwhile, have a
Very
great
good.
uh,
Thank you too.
and Happy New Year if I don't see you, but we'll talk again.
We'll talk again. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Anthony. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.